I used to drive for Uber on weekends to make some extra money. One night around 1:30 in the morning, I accepted a ride from downtown. The bars were closing, but the streets were still busy. Nothing unusual. When I pulled up to the pickup spot, I saw a guy standing under a streetlight. He was tall, he had his hoodie up with his hands in his pockets. He didn't look at his phone, he didn't wave at me, and he just stood there, perfectly still. He opened the back door and got in without saying anything. I said, "Hey, how's it going?" No response. I figured he was drunk or tired. Happens all the time. So, I started driving. After a minute or two, I checked the rear view mirror. He was staring directly at me. Not in a casual way, and also not zoning out from being drunk. He was just staring really intensely. I gave a quick smile and looked back at the road. Couple minutes later, I checked again. Bro was still staring. 5 minutes into the ride, he hadn't moved at all. He didn't use his phone, he didn't even shift in his seat, he didn't look out the window, he didn't do anything but watch me, and when I checked in the mirror, he was still watching me. I tried again. "Did you have a long night?" He didn't say anything. We were about 10 minutes into the ride when a GPS told me to turn into a quiet residential area. Streetlights got further apart, houses spaced out, and there was no one outside. That's when he finally spoke. "Don't drop me at the house." I thought I misheard him. "Sorry?" "Don't drop me at the house," he repeated. "Just keep driving." My stomach tightened. I told him I had to end the ride at the destination. That's how the app works. There was silence. Then I noticed in the mirror he leaned forward slightly, close enough that I could see his eyes clearly. "Please," he said, "just keep driving." We were almost at the address now. I pulled over anyway and said, "This is the stop." He didn't move. For a few seconds, he just stared at me in the mirror again. Then, suddenly, he opened the door and stepped out. But he didn't walk towards the house. He walked between two houses, into complete darkness. There were no lights, there wasn't even a path, he was just gone. I sat there frozen for a moment. Then, my phone ringed. "Ride completed. 5 stars." I didn't sleep much after that. I kept thinking about the way he looked at me in that mirror, like he didn't want to go home, or maybe he couldn't. This happened to me after a late shift last year. I take Uber home all the time, so I don't really think about it anymore. It's just routine now, almost automatic. Order the ride, wait outside, get in, go home. I've done it so many times that I barely pay attention anymore. I don't even think about safety most nights. It just feels normal and predictable, and I like it. This night, it was around midnight. It was cold, really cold. The cold where the air feels dry and empty and it just cuts right through you. The street outside my building was quiet. There was no traffic. I didn't see any people walking around. It's that late night feeling where you feel like the whole world seems to have paused and you're all alone. I opened my phone and clicked on the Uber app. I requested a ride like usual. The app showed a silver sedan arriving in 3 minutes. Nice, I thought. Maybe I'll have a big space. I remember I remember standing near the curb with my hands in my pockets, watching my breath in the air. I checked the map on my phone and saw the little car icon moving towards me. I have to say, everything felt normal. Just like every other night, completely normal. Then, a silver car pulled up almost immediately. It rolled to a stop right in front of me, smooth and quiet. The driver rolled down the window and said my name. Are you Emily? That was enough for me, so I got in. That's it. No second thought. I didn't have any hesitations. I didn't check the license plate like you're maybe supposed to do. I was just doing it so often. Yeah, I didn't think about it. I just opened the back door and sat down. The inside of the car felt colder than I expected. Not physically colder, just, a weird way cold. I can't explain it. The driver didn't turn around to greet me. He didn't smile and didn't say anything beyond my name, which was very unusual. Then we started driving. At first I didn't think much. Some drivers are just quiet. Some don't want to talk. And I actually prefer that most nights. I don't always want to talk to everyone. But as soon as I stepped into the car, something felt off. He didn't confirm my destination. He didn't ask how I was. Didn't look in his mirror. Basically everything that, I have to say all of my Uber drivers do, he didn't do that. And that put me off. He just drove. He just had his both hands on the wheel, eyes forward, and he was just super silent. I told myself he was probably just tired. Maybe he'd just been driving all night and this is his last ride and he just wanted to finish his shift. But after a minute, I checked my phone. And that's when my stomach dropped. My real Uber was still 3 minutes away. I stared at the screen for a second, thinking maybe the app hadn't updated yet. Maybe it was glitching. But the little car icon was clearly still around the corner. This means the car I'm sitting in right now was not my Uber ride. I felt that heavy, sinking feeling in my chest. The kind where your body realizes something is wrong before your brain catches up when you really feel like you fucked up. I slowly looked up from my phone. The driver still didn't look at me and didn't say anything. He just kept driving straight ahead like nothing was wrong. I tried to keep my voice calm. Hey, I think you picked up the wrong person. There was no response. There wasn't even a slight reaction. No head movement, no acknowledging that I even existed. He just kept driving. And now my heart started beating faster. I could feel it in my throat now. Tension was building up quickly. I checked the door handle quietly, not to make it obvious, but it didn't open. Child lock. Shit, I thought. I felt a wave of panic start to build in my chest. I swallowed and tried again, a little louder. I think I'm in the wrong car. Still nothing. Then he turned off the main road, onto a darker side street, not where we were supposed to go. I knew this area. There were no street lights, no cars. All the houses had their lights off. It was the middle of the night. There was just darkness and the sound of the tires on the road. That's when my chest started to feel tight. My hands were cold. My mind was racing, but I forced myself to stay still. I didn't want to panic. I didn't want to make him angry. And most of all, I did not want him to think I was scared. I had to stand my ground. Then I thought of something. I'm just gonna pretend to call someone. So I did. I held up my phone up to my ear and spoke loudly, very clearly. Hey, yeah, I'm in the Uber. License plate is... And I read the license plate number out loud slowly. The car stopped instantly. There was no hesitation, no slowing down. He just slammed his foot on the brake. Right in the middle of the road, silence filled the car. Then the driver slowly turned his head towards me. The way he looked at me, I still think about it. He didn't look surprised or confused. He looked irritated, like I'd ruined his little plans or something, and I wasn't supposed to notice. We stared at each other for a second that felt much longer than it actually was. Then I heard the click. The doors unlocked. I didn't say anything else. I didn't ask questions. I didn't wait. I opened the door as fast as I could. I didn't even close it, and I ran off. As soon as my feet hit the pavement, the car sped off. It was just gone. I stood there on the sidewalk, shaking. My legs felt weak. My hands were trembling so badly I almost dropped my phone. It took a minute for my breathing to slow down. A few minutes later, my actual Uber arrived, and now, when it pulled up, I checked the license plate once, then again, and then one more time before getting in. I did not talk during that ride. I just sat there, staring out the window, replaying everything in my head, trying to figure out, how did he know my name? I never told him. I don't even know who he is. I never ordered that ride, but somehow he knew exactly who I was, and I can't help but think, what would have happened if I didn't notice? I drive Uber part-time on weekends and have done so for 6.5 years. Most of my drives are late nights, are airport runs, or I pick up people leaving the bars. It's nothing too exciting. Honestly, most rides blur together after a while. We always have the same small talk, the same routes, the same drop-offs. Everything is just normal the way it is. But there's one ride I still think about every time I drive at night. It happened around 2:40 in the morning on a Saturday in October. I'd already decided I was going home after the next ride. I was tired and the city had gone quiet. That point in the night where even the drunk crowds disappear and it feels like you're one of the only people still awake. That's when the request came in. Pickup, 3 minutes away. Rating, 5 stars. Name, M. Huh? I checked it again. M? Yeah, that was the name. Just a single letter, M. That was the first thing I noticed. Most riders have a full name, or at least something that looks like one. But whatever, I accepted. I needed the money. The pickup location was a small residential street. There were no street lights except for one at the corner. I also didn't see any cars outside and obviously no people. When I pulled up, I didn't see anyone at first, so I almost cancelled the ride. Then the back door opened. I didn't even see him approach. 1 second the street was empty, and the next second someone was sitting behind me. I was like, what? How does this even happen? He didn't slam the door. Also, when he came in, he didn't even greet me or say anything. He just sat down. So I gave my usual greeting. Hey, how's it going? Nothing. So I checked the mirror. And yeah, there was nothing weird about him. It was just a guy, probably his mid-30s. He had a dark jacket on and no expression on his face. He was looking straight ahead, not at me, not at his phone, just forward to the road. So I shrugged it off and started the ride. The destination was about 20 minutes away, It was across town and not unusual for that time of night. We drove in silence for the first few minutes. Then I noticed something. The destination pin on the map moved. At first I thought the app was glitching, but then it moved again, slightly, and again. It was like someone was adjusting the drop-off location in real time, which should not be possible. I glanced in the mirror, and he didn't move very much. I don't think he touched his phone or was typing or anything. He was just sitting there, looking at the road, staring straight forward. I said, "Hey, just checking, did you change the address?" And there was no response. It was like talking to a deaf person. The destination pin moved again. Now it was farther out, towards an industrial area on the edge of the city where there are only warehouses, storage units and empty roads. And it's not really a place anyone goes at 3 a.m. I felt a small knot form in my stomach. Looks like the drop-off changed, I said. And again. Silence. I checked the mirror again. He was looking at me now. He wasn't looking at me in a threatening way or angry or anything. He was just watching me. Then he spoke, very quietly. "Just keep driving." That was it. Just those 3 words. I hesitated for a second, but I kept going. I didn't want to escalate anything, and I didn't want to assume the worst. Looking back on it now, I have to admit that something felt wrong. The map kept updating, each time moving to a destination a little further away. We left the city lights behind after about 10 minutes. The roads got wider, emptier. I didn't see a single car for about 5 or 6 minutes. I noticed something else then as well. The streetlights, they just spaced so far apart. I couldn't see that much. I really needed the light of the car. It felt like we were driving into a part of the city that didn't really exist at night. Another few minutes, the destination finally stopped moving. A single building appeared ahead. It was large and dark, and it looked like a storage warehouse. No lights were on, there were no cars outside and obviously no people. It was just an empty parking lot. The GPS said, "You've arrived." I slowed down and pulled to the curb. We sat there for a second, then I said, "This is a drop-off." He didn't move, he didn't open the door, he didn't say anything, he just kept sitting behind me. Then he asked something I didn't expect. "Do you ever pick up the same person twice?" What a weird question, I thought, and it really caught me off guard. So I said, "Yeah, sometimes it happens." He went quiet again, then he said, "You dropped me off here last week." I felt a chill run through my chest, because I know for a fact I had never been to this location before. I would have remembered it. It's such a scary, large, dark building. I would have remembered it. "I don't think so," I said carefully. He didn't respond, and a few seconds passed. Then I heard the seatbelt click. He opened the door. He stepped out and closed it gently. I watched in the mirror as he walked towards the building. But instead of going through a door, he walked around the side, into the dark. And just like that, he was gone. My phone buzzed. "Ride completed. 5 stars, no tip." I sat there for a moment, trying to shake the uneasy feeling in my chest. Then I looked at the trip summary. Pickup, listed correctly. Drop-off, listed correctly. But under the ride history, it showed something strange. Previous trip. Same passenger, same destination. From a week earlier, at the exact same time. I checked my driving history, and I wasn't even working that night.